have you been doing these all day?
No, you're first. It's Memorial Day, so we try to stay away from the morning. It's you, then Yuka.
Okay.
2 champs. Welcome to the interview area of the 80th U.S. Women's Open presented by Ally. I'm joined by 2023 champion Allisen Corpuz. Allisen, you have been to Erin Hills before. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I was here in 2008 for the public links, and I was 10 years old, and I remember it being a really big course. I know we were talking earlier. I remember one being, a pretty solid 3 shots for me, and this year it looks like it might be a little more reachable for me. And then I remember 9 just, being really pretty down the hill. And there's a few holes that I remember and a few that were nice to come back to. I know they redid it a little for the men's U.S. Open a few years ago, but the course looks beautiful.
Yeah, you played all 18 holes today. What was your reaction now as a grown-up playing the golf course?
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, I wish I remembered more of it from when I was younger, but I just remember how awesome this property is and like how nice the practice facilities are. I mean, that was my first USGA championship, so I remember just coming on site and just being really, really impressed. And here I am 17 years later and still really impressed by how you guys run a championship. So, no, it's been awesome to be out here so far.
Coming back 17 years later as a USGA champion, as a major champion, it's now your second time coming to the Women's Open as a Women's Open champion. What does that mean to you?
Yeah, it's so special to really feel like part of the USGA family. I mean, I was on the Curtis Cup team as an amateur as well, and yeah, played a bunch of USMs, junior girls, and the public links. So it's just so special to be out here and kind of know that like I'm a part of the USGA history now as well.
We will open it up to questions. We'll start on the left, Beth Ann, then Sarah.
What's it going to take to be successful at this golf course this week?
Yeah, it's definitely a really big course. I hit a lot more hybrids and woods than I would have wanted to into greens today. So I think just any major ball striking is always really important, and I think especially with the green complexes here, a lot of runoffs, just a few tight fairways, that'll definitely be key here.
When you think back to your game as a 10-year-old, what themes remain the same?
I'd say just attitude and like patience. I'd like to think I'm a much better player now than I was before, but I feel like I've always been a pretty calm player, and I think that's stayed the same over the years.
I know last couple tournaments have been not what you may have been looking for, but you're really close. What are you waiting for to click this week at a major championship test like Erin Hills?
Yeah, I think it's really just about putting my game under the pressure and, being able to execute in the moment. I feel like I've practiced really well, and I feel like I've had a really hard time, I guess, putting 4 solid rounds together. So, like I'll have one low round, kind of struggle through another. So, yeah, I mean, this is the type of course where I feel like, I don't think anyone's going to go, 20, 25 under this week. And I feel like I've always been really good at just playing for par, making some really, really tough pars. And I think that'll be good out at this course, just being able to kind of grind out a score. Even if you don't hit perfect shots, there's always, I think, a chance for recovery. And yeah, I like the course so far. It's set up really well.
Obviously got that win at Pebble and played in windy conditions there. Obviously going to be windy here this week, most likely. What is it about wind and really tough major championship conditions that brings out the best in you?
Yeah, I think just growing up in Hawaii, playing in a lot of wind, I mean, I love it. I love kind of, aiming a little away from the target, letting the wind take it in. I love just how the wind almost helps the course setup sometimes, just, helps you shape the shot a little bit, helps you to just, almost focus in a little more in the moment.
We're going to go front right to Jim.
Hi, Jim Wazarski, Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Welcome back. Length is a big part of this golf course, has been since, it was designed. Is that an advantage here this week in terms of just the longer a player can be either off the tee or some of those, as you said, approach shots?
Yeah, I think any course you go to it is. I mean, there were a few drives that I think, kind of pinch where I hit it, where I feel like a few longer players can definitely, carry a few bunkers or carry the rough line. So there's a few holes where it makes the course wider, but I also think there's definitely shorter par 4s as well where you can take advantage of.
We'll stay on the right, Rob.
Hi, Rob Hernandez, Wisconsin.golf. But when you look at the teams that inevitably play in this tournament, Do you see any of 10-year-old you in them, or has the maturity of the young golfer today kind of gone a long way?
Yeah, no, they're so much better than I was at 10 years old. I mean, it's amazing just to see how much better everyone's gotten. I mean, all the way through junior, amateur, and professional golf as well. I mean, even for my first year on tour, I feel like everyone out on tour is just way better than they were when I first came out here, and it's really cool to see. Mm-hmm.
Back to the left, Sarah.
Just looking at your driving accuracy numbers, you're in the top 10 of the LPGA Tour this season. What's the key to your accuracy, and how does that going to translate to a golf course like Erin Hills?
Yeah, I think my swing coach just kind of always keeps it really simple for me. So I like going out with, one good swing thought, and feel like just not overthinking it for me helps. It's the U.S. Open. The rough's going to be up, and like you said, it'll be windy this week. So it's always, I think, comforting to know that I'll go out there and just be comfortable over the ball. Just know, okay, if I'm struggling, like everyone else is as well. And I know I'm one of the straightest players out here, even if I don't hit it the furthest. And definitely, I would take fairway over the rough here.
Stay on the left, Beth Ann.
Do you remember anything about what you did off the golf course at the Wobble?
I don't believe the area was as built up much, but I don't remember the restaurant name. There was one restaurant we went to like 4 times throughout the week because it was right by our hotel and it was really good. But I'm blanking on the name right now. And
then for parents who are trying to figure out when is a good time to have my kids start playing in big events, what do you remember about how you ended up here at the age of 10, about talking about that with your parents?
Yeah, I think my dad's philosophy has always just been, the more you play, the better you'll get. It really was just play as much as I could, and I got really lucky. I think this is way back when, but I was the first alternate, I think, and then first or second alternate, and then the girl who qualified from Hawaii actually got a public links exemption for qualifying for the U.S. Open back when that was a condition. So then that's how I got into the event, was she didn't need the spot anymore, and then I got in. You never know what's going to happen, right? Qualifier's only one day, so you just go out there, have the day of your life, and suddenly you're at a championship. And, there's no better experience than just playing in a USGA championship.
We're back to the right, Rob, and then Hope.
Compared to some of the venues this championship has gone in the last few years, this would be considered an ultra-modern course. What are the challenges to learning this course versus some of the venues you've been at in recent years?
Yeah, I think every U.S. Open venue is similar. Like, you want it to be firm, fast, long, but at the same time, like you said, it is a bit different. It almost kind of has the links feel to it, I thought, out there, just with how much undulation there was on the fairways and the greens. I think it's similar, but it's different in each way. But just going to each course and trying to figure out what it needs, and figuring out what you need for the week.
Hope.
You've talked about it a little bit with Julia, but does it give you any sort of confidence or relief when you step up on the first tee on Thursday knowing that you've won a U.S. Women's Open before?
Yeah, definitely a lot of confidence to know, like, it's in me and I've done it before, and it's really just about putting 4 solid rounds together. And I think just every experience under pressure just makes you better.
Last one, Beth Ann.
What's the key to the 9th hole, you think?
Definitely keeping it left. Me and Megan played it, and she hit what I thought was a pretty solid shot, just fed off the right side, and then I hit the green, putted it off the green. So I won't be doing that during the tournament, but definitely a lot more break on the right half of the green than it looks like when you first walk up to it. And then it's a relatively shorter par 3. Like, I hit 9-iron, and I think it would be maybe an 8-iron to the back pin. So just a good solid shot. It could play pretty tough. Like, the wind was down off the left today, and left to right winds I think are always pretty tough. But just, once you hit a solid shot, get the right number, it's a pretty straightforward par 3.
Allisen, thanks for your time and good luck this week.
Thanks, Julia.